Really want to see some more upgrades.
Oh
in
man,
the castle.
that's a bummer. Elite Teutonic Knight. What? What? Hello everyone. Welcome to the third game in this best of 3 series between ARG and NHN. I'll introduce the first set of players, and then Nilly will introduce the second team. So we have the ARG team in yellow, red, and blue. In blue on the left side we have Takade playing as the Huns. In the yellow pocket we have Maxi playing as the Teutons. And over on the right side we have Aramis playing as the Goths.
But did they change civilizations again? I think so, right? Completely switching around. I think so.
No, I don't think so, because Berbers is not here.
Oh, no. I mean, Berbers and Vikings are banned, yeah. But I think the ARC players are switching civs again.
Oh, you mean, okay, players to civs. I'm not exactly sure.
Goth in first, Goth in second. And now Huns. And the first one it was, well, no matter what, we will have the same civilizations as we saw in the Arabia one. We have Mr. Tia Haribal, the Saracen flank. We have again Indian pocket, so good civ advantage for them in that regard. And Hirogashi as a flank, Persians again.
Yeah, this map, it looks a lot like Acropolis. Yeah, you're right. I've of course seen this map. I just not known the name of it. But it's more aggressive than Acropolis, and yeah, I really like it. It's quite nice. It's going to be a very aggressive kind of match.
Yeah, I think so for sure. It is tricky to attack into your opponent because he's always sitting on hills, towers on hills. Obviously, if you're trying to snipe something from distance, you're always doing less damage. But in general, it should play pretty similar to Arabia.
Yeah. With that said, it is a team game. So, you know, with a good bit of good communication, a nice coordinated attack, you could, of course, take the hill. And in fact, it might be hard for them to come back up the hill if you do so.
Well, yeah, we will see. Bullets in the center, something we need to expand later on. You also have some in the back. Not a lot of extra gold spots on this map. As you can see, 1, 2 tiles of extra gold, something like that. So trading needs to be pretty efficient and early on. Maybe something we want to talk about, the gold spot of our Hans player here in the blue trunks. How much will that hurt him?
Well, yes. Luckily, there's a good sized rush distance between him and Hirogashi, at least for this kind of map. So looks like I think on the right side there'll be a little more pressure. There's of course a forward gold for Aramis as well, which is not so nice. So either way, on that team, the forward gold spots are probably going to hurt them quite a bit, and they should hopefully try to play a very aggressive game because of that.
Yeah, well, let's see about that. Now getting the first board, it looks like our Hans player is going with 4 on wood, so might go for archers here, and well, could do not too well against Persians if he gets onto knights. Indian camels obviously not too shabby against that either. Let's take a look how this all will play out. I want to see some aggression this time from our ARC players.
Yeah, I hope so. I think that I really don't like the Goths in this particular matchup. Do you really want the most aggressive civilizations as possible, or civilizations with, you know, bonuses to their economy or good cavalry? And really, the Goths don't really stand out in any of that regard.
Well, they were the second highest seed, so they only had to get the civilizations. They had the choice between those or the 4 Rise of Raja civilization in the end, and wanted to go with Huns, Vikings, Teutons, and Goth. Not too shabby, but maybe not the greatest map pull for them.
Barles, I just noticed, taking 10 gold, so I think he's going to go with a Dark Age Rush, possibly, or a Men-at-Arms Rush. With this kind of map, I think that scouts are really heavily favored. Do you think it's possible that... Do you think it would be a good strategy for all 3 players to go scouts?
Well, all 3 players is too much, but 2 players going scouts is viable for sure. Did he maybe just trick Aramis here, or try to trick him?
Well, Aramis definitely saw it.
10 gold there.
He had the scout right in that area, and he's perfectly aware of that. I don't know if that changes how Aramis plays. I mean, Aramis is walling up a little bit, so...
Oh, I think Haribo didn't know about his second boar up to now.
Yeah, well, getting that
Barracks
in
from
pretty
the
late.
leader.
Yeah. A weird start either way.
Yeah. Okay, let's see how they play it out. Litukan, early up timing here. That will be scouts out of the pocket position. Exactly what we want to see.
I think that he got his sheep stolen too. I saw Aramis' scout just moving around Haribel's base for a while, and now I see 2 sheep going out towards the middle of the map.
Yeah, those have to be his. Maybe a bit more to the left-hand side of his base. And that hurts a bit as well, but he pushed 3 deers, so should be fine.
Should be fine, but you want as much food as possible, so that's never an ideal scenario. Great uptime from our Indian player. Went up with a 20 population up. I think that's what all Indian players should be doing with that extra food saved. And that should be a very strong scout rush from him.
Yeah, absolutely. On the other side, we have potential scouts from Hirogashi as well. He is not on gold yet. And that looks a lot like the scout build order. We have villagers on gold here for our purple player. So it will be double scouts and 1 player with archers. On the other side, we have double scouts, triple scouts from Ark here, apparently.
Are you sure? Maxi is not going up to the next stage. I think he's going fast castle.
Oh, baby.
With big walls. Yeah. Oh, my God.
And Red is playing Drush into something as well.
So very defensive. Yeah, he's not going up to the next stage either. That's kind of, on this kind of map, that's kind of crazy.
What are they doing? So will be like triple aggression against FC, Drush FC.
Look at this, like look at this wall from Maxi. Where is he going?
Makes 0 sense. Oh boy. Maybe NC won't have the biggest Arabia fail of the day.
Oh my God. This series, man. Just, these kinds of decisions are just wacko. They're just off the wall.
Well, that just makes 0 sense to go for those big walls here for sure. Not even sure if he will finish those. Now a barracks, and well, it just means that your teammates are getting heavily pressured as well. Take a look. Haribo, he's now going for man-at-arms. We'll get the clear up here. We'll go for some aggression. For now, quite a nice amount of kills without any losses. Now moves into more gold. I want to see more farms from him as well.
With Aramis, he's building tons of walls too, but they're just going to be walling forever. These maps are just simply not wallable with the resources and with the wood lines. Oh my God.
Well, if you want to wall, maybe the better approach is like Litukan is doing. Very close, like have everything in one screen of your own base and squeeze in the farms and 1 gold spot. But yeah, we can see players are still going for the very big walls here. They want to be safe, but I still feel they could be broken.
Absolutely, that gate's still open by that villager, so that scout's going to get in. Not that it matters that much anyway with how open they are. The 3 men-at-arms coming. They could break through the walls as well.
For now, still run around, but yeah, just right-clicking on the palisade gate should be so nice for him already.
Yeah, so Aramis has given up on the fast castle. If he was planning on going for it, he's adding an archer range. We have forward villagers from Haribel, and it looks like he's going to drop down a tower. With those men-at-arms, that's going to be a ton of pressure coming on to Aramis.
And look where he's building the defensive tower here. Litukan is now coming over as well. The walls are broken. And, well, there will be some dead villagers on the golds for sure. Well, Spearman is coming over trying to help. Some men-at-arms didn't really squeeze in. And those are more villagers and some men-at-arms. I think he can just go for that tower and kill it.
Yeah, I think so. It's not within range of the town center. And luckily, though, Maxi has gone up to the next stage with minimal disruption.
For now. And, well, maybe at the cost of one of his teammates, right? Because, well, red is in some troubles for sure. At the other side, what did we see? Green against blue. Seems like scouts won't do much there. Maybe blue with triple range CA can make something happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't count them out yet. I mean, these castle ages have really not been very disrupted. Red is taking some damage, but he's not out of the game, or at least not at this stage yet. He's going to lose a villager, though, on his wood line. and his other wood lines being very threatened. Hopefully he's just going to be able to hold out until Knights. He needs to hold out for another 2 or 3 minutes.
That's tricky, right? More towers in your face, men-at-arms are doing some job. In the meanwhile, scouts are harassing your other wood line. He's now trying to move into the tower. That makes 0 sense because scouts are coming over. There's still 1 man-at-arm, and the tower will go up most likely anyways.
Yeah, and Aramis is going to go try to battle down that tower. I think he needs to run with all of those villagers because this could be a very nasty fight for him. And I think he's got to get out of there.
Look at his KD, 6 to 14 at the moment. That will be more dead villagers for sure. And, well, completely losing his wood line. Yeah, Knights could be coming out any moment from our player in the yellow trunks. But still, heavy losses for Red.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a poor reaction from Aramis. I don't know, though. Here comes those Knights of our pocket player, Maxi. Gonna go with double stable. And we'll see where he goes first with those, and Cavalry Archers coming from our Huns player on the left side.
Yeah, and well, that will be tricky to counter for sure. Still very open. CA can do quite a bit against basically every single player. Green is maybe the safest at the moment. Can go for some Knights, but I think main aggression will really be continuing over at the side of Red.
Yeah, so these Knights really can't get in onto the base of our NHN players. However, the base of Tia Haribo is very exposed, and that's where I would go first.
True, true. He has very little walls here. Somewhat to the right hand side, but still open there. Archers very exposed there at the front. Not any upgrades on them either. I'm a bit surprised how open he plays this.
Looks like there's a few scouts moving around in the north side of Maxi's base. However, should get caught out by the Spearman. Looks like they might be able to get a villager kill. Actually, that Spearman's not really doing his job too well. And it's going to be a villager down there. So try to slow down the pocket player a little bit, but it's a little bit too late for that.
Yeah, okay, let's take a look. The Ace apparently got in here in green space. I have no idea how they managed to do that, but that's a big fail. Oh no, squeezing through the houses there.
That seems like the theme of this series. Just another mistake. Huh? That's devastating. I mean, it's going to be another minute before a knight can come out from Hiragashi, and those cavalry archers can just keep running around the town center. If you don't have resources to build knights, then how are you going to defend yourself?
He can build 4 knights for now, but without any defense upgrades then. Take a look. Second stable. Trying to get that one up, but that's a lot of idle villagers for sure.
Yeah, Hiragashi going to try to re-wall, but this is a disaster at his base. I mean, I think this could change around the game.
We will take a look here and tries to micro this off pretty nicely, and well, finally the walls are up. 30 villagers for him. In the meantime, we have quite a lot of skirmishes in the very north of Red space again.
Yeah, quite a few skirmishers, but I think that you know, those knights should be able to clean up. Looks like Latukan's now up to the next stage. Hopefully we'll be able to build some camels to support his ally, but the damage is quite significant.
And yeah, and that one single wall can really cost you a game here. He needed to be safe, and I said, yeah, other players, they're pretty open, except Green. He's super safe, and oh boy, was I wrong. And well, Green is paying the price for it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's actually, I think, in the worst position at this game, even worse than Aramis. Aramis at least has his economy working, and will be able to do something once he reaches the Hassle Age. But yeah, he really needs some help from his teammate, Latukan. And here comes Latukan with 4 camels coming over.
Yeah, they are missing the +3 defense though, so CA might be able to do something. +2 defense even for Hiragashi, and that's what I didn't like. He went for 2 knights and +2 defense instead of going for 4 early knights. And now let's take a look, trying to engage together. CA, they need to micro here. I'm a bit surprised that he isn't hit and running.
Yeah, absolutely, you need to do that. That's why you go Cavalry Archers, to hit and run. Certainly you don't want to fight against camels straight up. And Husbandry coming in from Latukan, that's a great upgrade going against Cavalry Archers at this stage of the game.
Yeah, so true. And we need to see husbandry as well for blue. And now the TC trying to be built, losing yet another villager here potentially, not focusing there properly. And well, okay, one going down. This is just so ugly. And well, blue is just playing out of his mind here. Mass CA, he's controlling this game for them.
Yeah, it's going to bode well for him later in the game since he already has a good mass of cavalry archers. That mass is only going to grow larger and larger as the game goes on. And hopefully Aramis will be able to click up to the Castle Age pretty soon here. But Haribel, he's still under so much pressure right now from these Knights of Maxi. Maxi's got a good boom going back at home too. Pretty soon he'll be able to afford +2 armor and potentially more stables.
Well, let's see. He lost a lot of knights at the moment.
Yeah, that was a bad fight.
Well, it wasn't really a fight. It was just him standing there. Okay, now he's moving in again, bloodlines, but that is again against the hill, and that's what we said. You're always fighting uphill if you're trying to attack your opponent. Now he takes the high ground himself, but lost a knight there before he could really kill the first archer. Haribel surviving better than we thought.
A little bit better, but he's still got to survive for some time now. The bloodlines is certainly going to help out a lot. I wish we saw +2 armor already for Maxi, but obviously he's investing a lot into his economy. I would have liked to see him go heavier into knights and really try to do the damage against Haribel as opposed to booming up right now. However, I think that boom will pay off a little bit later in the game.
We'll see, but can you really outboom an Indian player? That's also a tricky question. Maybe he could have done a bit more if he went indeed for the 3 stable early knight +2 defense there, but then again, if your enemy is having the camels out, what can you really do?
Yeah, that's true, but, I mean, the Tuken's army is really the only one you're fearing right now, as Hirogashi's pretty far behind in this game. I think with cavalry archers and with a heavy knight line, should be able to counter the camels from the Tuken.
We're always saying Hirogashi is so far behind, but if we look at the real numbers, he's only 8 villagers behind of blue. Well, yeah, blue has a huge army compared to green, but boom-wise, he isn't too far behind.
That is true. So hopefully that Takate will be able to, do some damage with his cavalry archers.
We'll see. Maxi now in some troubles, really asking for some help, which he honestly doesn't need.
Yeah, he really doesn't need it.
From 2 well under TCs. I think blue just should have gone for purple.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
Maybe for teal, get some kills.
Absolutely. Purple was, he could have been in a terrible position. Almost lost a lot of his archers if only Maxi had a little more support or had better upgrades on his knights, then could have really broken Tia Haribel. But that just didn't happen.
Take a look, we have both of our kind of south players, the more aggressive ones now in Castle Age as well. Not a lot of military for our player in the red though. 41 villagers for him, that's kind of as low as for Tia Haribel. Just feels like blue is not making enough out of his army advantage at the moment.
Yeah, I think that Aramis, at this point, he doesn't have much army. I think he's probably just going to try to boom and go heavy into infantry. So he'll need some time and the support of his allies to hopefully make a lot of army in the Castle Age.
Yeah, it is a tricky situation. I kind of want to advise everyone to go heavy Castle Age here. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to boom up at the moment. For the Tukan, maybe the most. Green, well, he's sitting somewhat behind the walls. But Haribel, he needs to go for massive army. I'd love to see the Han player going for massive army. And with that, probably the Teuton player as well. Maybe try to catch the Tukan before him.
I mean, I think the player that would benefit most from an Imperial Age would probably be the Indian player with the upgrades to the camels. However, it's going to be hard if he decides to not make as many camels as he could, as these cavalry archers, they're in good mass now, and they're really pushing out across the map.
He's adding more camels indeed. Now Imperial camels could be deadly, and that's what I meant. Maybe catch them before they score. Couldn't be closer here. Now the rush, who gets the hill, patrolling in there for blue was a small miss again. What is yellow doing? He is getting away from blue. Small miscommunication there, and I'm really Weirded out by the two knights going back at home. No, okay. That's a better fight for blue, I believe. The camels not having the greatest engagement. Knights now in the front. And I think that should be better for NHN. They just need to jump on this crossbows now.
Yeah, they should. What is Takane doing? Move in. Oh, man. Yeah.
Are we misjudging this? This is still CA. +2, +1. Bloodlines on them. Oh, boy.
They have all their upgrades except for the last armor, which should be coming in at some point. But they're in the right position. If they're able to take out this army, they'll do massive damage to Haribo.
Where is Yellow's army? That's so surprising to me. Don't tell me he's already... Oh god, he's clicking up to him. That makes 0 sense. I think they could have done so much in Castle Age here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. But either way, they're still not in a bad position, in my opinion. Aramis has been investing heavily into his infantry upgrades this whole time. He doesn't quite have the economy for the spam yet. So, I mean, he's going to try to give as much as he can right now. I would have liked to see a heavier boom before investing so much into these infantry upgrades.
Okay, Hirogashi now losing his knights that came over on the way to Imp are 3 players. We even saw Anarchy here for our player in the red, so he will try to make something work with his 60 villagers. And Huskals, they aren't too bad if you only face camels and crossbowmen.
I think the key here is Takade's got to really keep his cavalry archers alive. He needs to keep massing them and get his upgrades. Make sure not to run into the camels and take a bad fight with them. As he might do right here. Oh... yeah, that's not a great fight at all. Oh my gosh.
Getting surrounded is getting away. Maxi, he is up to him now, so maybe wait for the Cavaliers and for your heavy CA and then try to take engagements again. In the meanwhile, red is flooding in now, and that's how Goth are designed.
Well, finally we have the ratings onto purple. I've been thinking it's going to happen all this game, but they really haven't invested as much in Castle Age as they should. So Aramis is going to try to finish the job. He's got the right army composition for it, and certainly Teal will have to come over to try to help out. The Camel's not so great against Huskarls. But, yeah, if I was Aramis, I'd stay in Castle Age and just try to help out with that. I don't think the Imperial Age gives you too much of a benefit, especially with your economy looking the way it does. And I think it's kind of scary, though, that they've gone into the Imperial Age. I definitely like the Middle Eastern civilizations a little better in this situation.
Yeah, probably. I think like Halberdiers and then fighting off against, well, a lot of Cav actually could be really nice. Maybe even the Sling there could have been a good option. Because now Maxi going on Halberdiers from his home base doesn't really make me happy either.
Doesn't make me happy, but it makes sense as far as the army compositions right now. It's kind of forfeiting an advantage, though, if you need to go Halberdiers. So that's not the best thing ever. But hopefully they'll be able to do a little more raiding. Looks like the raiding's kind of getting shut down, actually, in Haribel's base as he goes up to the castle, and there's some forces there to defend.
Once he gets up to like 10 Mamelukes, he should be fine defending that as well. Now the big move in there against the base of blue. I'm not sure if anyone is really happy to take this fight. It's under the TC, so that's not too great for the attacker. And it's just shortly before the upgrades are finishing, so not too happy for Tataki here as well. Seems like he will clear it up though.
Yeah, it seems like he'll clear it up, but kind of at what cost? I mean, they're forced to take an engagement here because otherwise... Takade is going to take a lot of losses. However, he's going to lose a lot of cavalry archers in the process, which were not upgraded. Maxi coming in late, and he would have been much better if he were able to come in a lot earlier in that fight.
And it's not like they didn't see that attack coming from a long shot. So I'm surprised, and I really hate that he is building the barracks at home. I think more on the center of the map could have been so much better. Especially just think about it. Persian and Indian both going Cav. If he gets onto a Halberdier push, it will be really tricky to stop for the left-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely. I really don't like that Takade again lost a lot of his cavalry archers. I don't think they're as useful anymore now that they're not in a good mass. Hopefully the Halberdier switch will be able to afford them something, but they need a little bit of momentum to be able to use the Halberdiers. You don't want to use them as defensively. They'll be good against stopping raids, but you want to be able to have some sort of offensive pressure, of course.
I think so as well, not even upgrading to Cavaliers. It's tricky. Yellow, for now he gets his barracks up there, so maybe he can get the aggression rolling. Could be pretty nice for him. In the meanwhile, some raids against the back CC of Aramis, who is not really taking care of that attack in the back here.
Yeah, Aramis. Yeah, the camels go after the town centers, actually. Doing a little bit of work on them. But there's a castle in the base. I don't fear too much for that. It's interesting to see. Do you think Aramis or Harabel's in a better position?
Doesn't really matter, right? Those two aren't really deciding the game. It
suppose,
feels like probably Aramis just because of the villager count, and he has like more of the aggression at the moment. But in the long run, I'd prefer to have Saracens.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it looks like Takati has a little bit of momentum here as he still has those cavalry archers left over. He's trying to push in on the base, but Paladin's now coming in for Higurashi, and I think that might be enough to be able to push that back. Paladins are just such a huge power spike when going against archery-type units that certainly they'll have to look out for that.
Why is Blue going back again?
Yeah, this is his opportunity before the Paladin upgrade comes in.
He was doing so much damage there at the front, just hitting units without really any losses. Okay, apparently he's called to the other side of the map now, but I think that's the wrong decision. He could have done so much damage there at the front.
Yeah, a lot of missed opportunities for the ARC team. It looks like they had a good position surviving after that fast castle. A lot of rams in the middle, though, getting upgraded cap ram right now. The Halb will be a good unit, but there's not a lot of them. But really, there is no counter to Halbs out on the field quite yet.
Okay, let's take a look. Maybe the castle will go down before it finishes. Would save myself a push-up here, but it feels like 80%. Yeah, the Imperial Camels won't really save it, but, well, Rams not really focusing too well either. What are the Halberdiers doing? Just really taking the high ground there, and the Rams, they're getting pushed back, although the castle should have been under way more pressure.
This is the right army composition for Maxi, but just not being able to mass enough. If he had maybe 10, 20 more Halbs, they would certainly be in a much better position, maybe even able to take out that castle, but just not really, you know, bringing all these factors together for a nice coordinated push.
Okay, CA is now coming over for the coordinated push that you are requesting. And Aramis, he's on the way to Imperial Age, and we still see Harable in Castle Age, so maybe they can get the transition rolling there. Now the first big push here towards the base of the Toucan, but only 2 rams. There were like 8 rams a minute ago.
My question is why. I think it makes more sense to push in on the weaker player as opposed to pushing in on the strongest player. If they wanted to push on the left or right sides, I think that would have made a lot more sense than pushing in straight through the middle.
Well, maybe they feel they want to pressure the Imcamel guy. And remember, the push with Halberdiers is obviously good against a guy who cannot really transition away from his calf. At the moment, the Imperial Camel's not taking the greatest engagement, and that's even without the Halberdiers at the front. It feels like the pressure in the center is really paying off.
Or it should, at least in a few minutes. Surprisingly, not a lot of raiding going on this game. There was a little bit of raiding going on in Aramis' base, but most of the action taking place mostly in the middle.
Well, yeah. They're trying to make something happen. So where are the Rams? Not really going for more. The castle, if he just repairs the castle, he's buying himself so much time. Because at the moment, again, Ark, I dislike the usage of their army in this game. Could have been such a good spot again. And, well, Yellow, I completely missed that he's getting another castle there up at the left-hand side. And, well, loses
Was
one.
destroyed, yeah. One less push-up.
And look, Toucan with the defensive castle here. Trade isn't really set up from Ark. Hate that.
Yeah, you have to get trade set up nice and early. Oh my god! so many camels. Look at Maxi's base. There's a bunch of Mameluke in the back there getting tons of kills.
Oh boy, yeah. We saw the raid early on, and he's trying to send more villagers to the top, try to get the TC up. But the big engagement here is in the center, where we didn't see the greatest usage of the Halberdiers to begin with. CA still doing a great job. The castle at the right-hand side went down, and Imperial Camels, they tried to find another spot. Still, the big question is, who will get the solid trade up a bit earlier? For now, both seems underwhelming.
I think that raid onto Maxi is really going to hurt his momentum. He's very low on resources. Of course, you need a lot of resources to be, you know, making a lot of Halbs and a lot of Rams. I think that might hurt his momentum going into here, but will it be enough to be able to push up the hill? I don't think it is with all those Imperial Camels and no Halbs left.
I think they need to push more from the side of the second castle now. Paladin production isn't really that great either, because I don't see Green having too much of a gold income. Left-hand side, maybe finally he's going for more. And we see the blue player switching on to Halberdiers himself now.
I like that option too. Again, we still don't see any counters to Halberdier in this matchup. Both these civilizations do get gunpowder, but they do require gold, and gold is kind of hard if you don't have trade or you don't have map control for extra gold piles.
Yeah, that's so true. But we saw some extra gold piles in the back there. People are trying to go for it. But look at that. Purple is now having a nice push in his face as well from red. It seems like all three players are going mass Halberdiers at the moment.
And that's really what's working for them. I mean, there's no other counter to it right now. The Mamelukes are not heavily upgraded enough to be a good counter to it. Hand cannons are going to be okay, but that's where the cavalry archers come into play. And you know, this could be a little bit of a weakness to all three of these civilizations. All three of these civilizations, these Middle Eastern ones, are very cavalry dependent.
Yeah, so true. Mamelukes are absolutely needed. Maybe Arbalest could have been a better choice. The Mamelukes here just to have a better counter against Halberdier and hand cannoneers. But, well, he's getting pushed anyways. And, well, trade is not going beautifully either.
Luckily, it looks like Higurashi will take over another gold mine on the left. He's got a little bit of momentum if he wants to push into Takate's base. The siege ram upgrade's nice. However, Takate's going to go in for another huge raid. There is another hole in the wall that was over-chopped. And here they come.
CAs. Yeah, that's so sweet. And I don't really see the masses here of green player. He's at 30 military. All the other Arc guys are in the late 40s. So military numbers are better for the Arcs. But, well, still a lot of Halberdiers trying to chase down way faster army.
Well, the Toucan has decided on his counter now to the Halberdier and the Cavalry Archer. He's going to go with the Skirmisher, which is, you know, decent, but you don't normally want to go Skirmishers in a team game. And as well, I think their team is really running low in gold at this stage of the game.
Feels like it, and I mentioned it several times, the trade wasn't really set up early enough. You kind of want to start trading, like, very early Imperial Age, maybe on transition to Imp, just build your markets. It does not really hurt to have 10 credit cards early on and then play the beautiful team game and use your civilization to full potential, which at the moment, they can't.
With these army compositions, it really, for the ARC team, it really saves a lot of gold as well. This map doesn't, we mentioned at the beginning game, doesn't have a lot of extra gold mines. The Huns, their cavalry archers are quite cheap. The Goths don't spend a lot of gold on their infantry. And the Teutons player we've seen has transitioned to Halbs very early. So that might give them good longevity. They're starting trade right now, which, you know, luckily they've been able to save gold. But we'll see if they're able to maintain this momentum.
Oh, well, we will see indeed. Another big raid here at the left-hand side. In the center, we're seeing raids over and over again. It's still mobility against Halberdiers, basically. NHN, well, they are pushing the center quite nicely here, but it cannot be cost-efficient.
No, it's not cost-efficient. Luckily, though, I think that gold pile that Higurashi just took over is really going to be a game-changer. He's really getting a lot stronger in this matchup as he's able to build more paladins. They're certainly pushing back towards the middle side of the base. There's 4 siege rams there. Might not be enough. Might be enough. It's going to be close. There's the 2 trebuchets as well. This might be enough to push back for the game, especially with ARG not having any trade cards available right now.
Yeah, that's just so bad. And, well, Maxi, he's not really getting on population. Look at that, pop 125, and he didn't get raided for the last 2 minutes or something. So he just should have all TCs running.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up. Maybe should ask all his team partners as well for rest.
Yeah, I think throughout this game, Maxi's economy's not been where it should be. He should have had a lot of Halberdiers a lot earlier on in the game. He, of course, made the mistake of going into Imp a lot quicker, as opposed to making more knights. And even at this stage of the game, still 80 villagers, 98 for Takate. That's not really acceptable at this stage of the game.
Oh man, but still, Aramis, he is trying to make something happen, right? Next castle for him, and he spams just Halberdiers and hand cannoneers against Harbal, who is at pop 140. Overall population, very even.
Yeah. Very even. I like the quality of the army of ARG a little bit better. And, I don't know. Are they going to be able to deal with this army on the right side? The Paladins certainly are not going to do too much. Camels are not going to do too much. It's just really up to Skirmishers at this point.
And if you mention those are the carrying units, that is never a good sign for sure. Now it's sniping the bombard cannons at the right-hand side. Traps are somewhat exposed as well. Not a lot of real eco raid coming in. Not even some more elephants being added.
Just for a little good measure, of course. But I think, I don't know, I think the skirmishes might be enough to hold this on the right side. And it's so hard to tell. I mean, on the left side, Higurashi has lost his gold mine now. Although, I mean, look at their trade. Their trade looks pretty healthy now. They probably won't be needing all those extra gold mines at the stage of the game. Whatever's left.
Well, they have 40 trade to now one single trade card that isn't even running. So now they feel like, okay, let's go for it. But so some imp camels controlling that corner as well. Probably the first trade income won't be within the first 60 minutes of the game.
And just taking a look at resources, there is a full gold mine and a full stone mine at the top towards Takade. And then back over at Haribal's base, there is quite a bit of gold still left over there. So those are going to be key points for this game that are contested right now.
But look at that, all three players now fighting off against the guy who was pushing so well, and suddenly 50 military, 60 military evaporating there against the Paladins in the front, so many CA in the back. He's doing still an okayish job, some Rams taking some of the damage, and Huskarl's well positioned there in the back. That's actually a pretty good fight here for our red player, considering that he fought 3v1.
Well, he needs more support from Maxi. Maxi's, speaking of resources again, he's got a full stone mine and a full gold mine in the middle, but has been rebuilding his population, but because that really doesn't have a lot of army out on the field at this moment. But he really needs his teammate to step up.
But honestly, that was so well done by him. All the Halberdiers got rid of the Paladins, then some Huskars sneaked through the back of all the skirmishes, cleared those up. I thought it was a clear cleanup, but well, it's looking good for Red at the moment, and Blue has a sick army at the left-hand side as well.
Yeah, I'm liking a little bit Ark's position. I think with those extra resources, they've got really a lot of access to the extra resources on the map. They should have enough momentum, I think, to close out the game, possibly. But that said, if the game goes a little bit later, certainly that trade line is going to be very beneficial for the NHN team.
Okay, let's take a look. It just feels like Ark, they need to finish it within the next, I'd say
10 minutes.
6-7 minutes. Oh, 10 minutes, reasonable as well. Otherwise, we will have imp camels, paladins, mamelukes against halberdiers only.
I think it's possible. The left side's looking great. We have even some keeps. Keeps are coming up in the middle for Ark. I think they just need Ark. If they have, I think they need Maxi. Just to be able to give them a little bit more, and I think that should be enough for the game. Castle coming up in the middle as well, onto another stone mine.
Yes, 120 villagers now working for himself. The traps of our Hans player moving forward, he's taking to banking. Perfusion for the Ghost player, he will really spam this out. And well, people are just sending in the wrong units against the Ghost player, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, they definitely need a lot more ranged units in the mix. Or even some siege. We haven't seen any siege other than Rams this game. Not that these civilizations are known for it, but it would be very beneficial in this situation.
Take a look, Green. How far can he keep Blue away from the trade? He has one castle there. Now takes into skirmishes himself, trying to defend this. Tries to hold. That's not the biggest protection. And if they lose the trade, they're basically losing their main advantage.
That's just too many units, I think. All of those cavalry archers? That's a lot of army.
Oh, and another castle here from our Newton player who only has fletching though. So really wants to see some more upgrades.
Oh man. That's a bummer. Elite Teutonic Knight? What? What?
What?
It makes sense. There's no ranged units really.
Oh man.
I think it makes sense. Another castle coming up.
I don't think he really has the gold. I think he should invest the first 1,000 gold into some reasonable trade, and then maybe later go for it.
Yeah, or Rams with the Tudens unique tech would be good too. So this is going to be... They're going to try to push back here on the left side. We have 2 players here versus the 1 player, Takade. Let's see if those helps can do some work.
Oh, I think he will just hold them off. Trap should have maybe unpacked, and now after all the helps fall down, he maybe should retreat a bit more. Some more Halberdiers are coming over, but a bit too late if you ask me. Will lose lots of his aggression after losing all the traps.
Yeah, I agree. Should definitely retreat and try to save those cavalry archers for a later day.
Right now with 17 trade cards, and if he just is able to continue spamming Huskarls, that could be fine for his whole team. Because the other side is just pushing with, well, still Elite Teutonic Knights, and they have to be so scared. They think, okay, we blocked their trade so well, we might have a good chance, and suddenly one guy is coming up with Elite Teutonic Knights?
I have to say that Maxi is once again a few minutes too late to the party. He should have been here during that big fight that we just saw, but those Teutonic Knights are just cleaning up everything. There's no answers to them at all at this point.
Oh man, yeah.
Can you imagine this, a game where the Teutonic Knight is actually, might be the game decider in a high-level game?
I've never seen that before, right?
Not for a long time. The right side's done, though. I mean, look at the units coming in from for Aramis. I think the right side's done.
Spamming this so well indeed, and yeah, hand cannoneers, he's trying to get the numbers out, but at the moment military count 5, and the other team has, what is that, 230? That's ridiculous, 200.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be the game. I mean, just so much spam coming in from Aramis. Finally, Maxi is making another contribution to this game and might be the nail in the coffin. Takade still has all of his cavalry archers alive. And it's kind of funny because this is the team that, you know, took so long to get their trade up, but they're winning it right now. And GG.
Oh man, map control and simply the cost efficiency there with all the mass halberdiers. What a great game.
What a great game. I think that certainly the ARC team should have taken a lot better fights in this game. It gave the other team a great opportunity there to come back, but that fast castle at the beginning, you know, ended up not defeating them at the very beginning. And then just the halberdiers. I mean, the Pokeboys, they're the big highlight of this game. Just no counters to them towards the early Imperial Age, as none of the players making any ranged units to counter them.
Man, yeah, that's so weird, right? Maybe not going Mamelukes, but just stay on Arbalest could be the better option. But, well, Persians, they were kind of one-dimensional there as well, having so many problems at the start. Didn't really allow him to maybe go for halberdiers himself.
Yeah, absolutely. So the army composition's really making a difference this game, and the map control as well.